And joining me now is a member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. Congressman, thank you for joining us. How tight do you think, right at this moment, Putin's hold on power is after what we have seen transpire in the last 48 hours?
I think it's a little shaky. I think that, when I think about what happened in the last 48 hours, I'm reminded of that Taylor Swift song on all radios right now, namely Karma. You reap what you sow right now in Vladimir Putin's Russia, where there's a mafia and ruthless kind of culture of power, which is the governing principle there. And it turns out that Prigozhin might be even more ruthless and barbaric than Putin. And so I think that Putin right now is trying to consolidate power, trying to eliminate the possibility of Prigozhin somehow coming back. But it's all very tentative right now.
Do you have any understanding, based on what you may have heard, although I'm sure you cannot reveal any classified information, but in your role as an Intelligence Committee member, about why Prigozhin did this and why he did it now?
Well, I can't get into the classified information, but what we know about Prigozhin is that he has questioned publicly the way in which this war has been waged in Ukraine. He also has very, very sharp personal disputes with a number of members of the Russian Defense Ministry. And, it came to the fore when these folks in the Russian Defense Ministry actually attacked his people in the rear in Ukraine. And numerous casualties and fatalities resulted. And so I got to believe, from Prigozhin's standpoint, as we sit here right now, there's blood on the hands of Russian Defense Ministry's officials today. And I don't think that's something that Prigozhin will soon forget.
Do you think his goal was to topple Putin initially?
I don't know. But certainly he was trying to, go after Russian Defense Ministry officials. But very interestingly, again, I think that they did not re-engage him on his way to Moscow. And I have to believe that they did not think that they could eliminate him and the Wagner group, which is much bigger than any other type of foe that they've dealt with before. All that being said, today, perhaps Prigozhin may be in Belarus, but I don't think that this feud has been settled. And as you know, there are tens of thousands of fighters who still in some ways are loyal to Prigozhin inside of Russia. And so that's got to be a disturbing thing for Putin. And this also has implications for China, which I can talk about as well.
Yeah. I want to talk about Ukraine, though, as part of this. Western officials told my colleague Jim Sciutto on Friday that the counteroffensive that Ukraine has engaged in is, quote, not meeting expectations. I wonder if you think that the events of this weekend will change that, especially given that we don't know where these Wagner fighters are going to go.
It could. The Wagner fighting force was arguably the most effective component of Russian forces in Ukraine. And so to the extent that they are not engaged in the fight to, the way that they were before, that reduces overall effectiveness of Russian forces in Ukraine. But even more than that, Abby, Vladimir Putin is more concerned, I would argue, at this moment about his internal position within Russia. And so this whole situation with Prigozhin is distracting him. And I hope that it gives the Ukrainians some potential opening to press any advantages that they have on the battlefield in Ukraine. And hopefully it gives them some ability to further their advances.
I want you to listen to what one of your former colleagues said this morning. This is former Republican Congressman Hurd, who, as you know, is running for president. Take a listen.
We should have been planning with our allies. We should have been planning with the Ukrainians on how to take advantage of this opportunity. We should be supporting the Ukrainians more. I think that even goes as far as doing a no-fly zone and helping them enforce that.
Congressman, do you agree with that? I
like Hurd. He was my colleague, but I disagree with him. I I think the Biden administration has handled this well, and they should not engage in any sudden moves at this point. Certainly none that could be interpreted or used by Putin to deflect attention from kind of the illegitimacy of what he's trying to do in Ukraine. With regard to the no-fly zone, again, any kind of attempt to enforce a no-fly zone would engage U.S. forces directly with the Russians, and that could lead to an escalation. I think we should provide F-16 fighter jets, which the Ukrainians can use to help to police their own air skies above Ukraine, as well as other armaments, but we should not directly get engaged.
All right. Congressman Roger Krishnamoorthi, thank you very much for joining us on this Sunday morning.
Thank you so much.